a stay-at-home dad, watching Disney movies he never had. His daughter digs through all the VHS, crushing the classics in a princess dress. Informed like Scuttle, Kurt's got your ticket, making it real like Jiminy Cricket. Most are off the Captain Hook, but if the Tweedledum, he'll be taking more shots than Bambi's mom. Leaves him raised like Simba, or cracked like the beast dishes. He'll show you a whole new world, you won't need 3 wishes. Stay at home, Disney Dad.
Absolutely terrified to rewatch this. When I saw this in the theater in 1991, and I remember liking it a lot, but not enough for it to be one of those like must-have, must-watch over and over movies, you know. But it was competing around that time with like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Home Alone, so it got a little lost in the shuffle. But let me tell you, sitting in that theater, even at like 10 or 11 years old, I knew I liked me some Jennifer Connelly. Let's press play. We start with a pilot being warned about a finicky little plane, and they yell, "Treat her right, Secord!" And if I had $1 every time someone yelled, "Treat her right, Secord!" at me. There you go. It could have been a dirty joke if you thought long enough about it, if you have creative mind. Okay, treat her well, Secord. She's going to take us to the Nationals. Big soaring music. It feels very Disney, very pro-USA, and I love all of it. Sprawling fields and puff your chest nationalism, all that good stuff. Before he takes off, he kisses his fingers, then touches a picture of Jennifer Connelly with him. Personally, I'd rather kiss Jennifer Connelly than touch a picture of my fingers at... That was weird. That's fine. That's fine. It made sense. It had to play out. The plane dramatically takes off, and all the men left on the ground cheer. The pilot starts hot dogging, and the crowd cheers him on for his hot dogging in the air. L.A. 1938, it finally says after the intro. We cut to a high-speed chase, and someone is hanging out the back of a car with a Tommy gun, firing at the police who were chasing him. Like, police hot on their trail. Yikes. There's never been a better gun than a Tommy gun, for the record, okay? Bad guys seem to have stolen something in a large case. The camera keeps cutting to that, but the plane flies overhead, and the bad guy shoots in the air, thinking that plane is a police plane. They hit the plane, it starts bleeding oil. All at once, the bad guy leaps out of his car, the plane crashes close by, there's a mix-up, and the pilot punches a federal agent, and the federal agent punches him back. They found the bad guy who jumped from the car. He won't tell them where the package he stole is. Apparently, we saw it. He swapped it in the barn, like, before jumping out of the car. Like, he drove into the barn, ditched it, drove out of it. They find some burnt and broken doohickey in the wreckage, and they figure that's what was left of whatever he stole, but it's a decoy. This movie coming in hot. We see some high-level businessmen who say the X3 was destroyed, and they agree better destroyed than in the wrong hands. He says he's not going to build another one. He throws the blueprints in the fire. Howard Hughes says so. So dramatic. The good-natured pilot, Cliff Secord, now owes money because of the broken plane, and his mechanic, Peavy, says they can always restart the Flying Clown Act, and that'll help pay off some of the debt. Cliff doesn't want to hear this, and he gets inside another old plane, and he finds the real X3. That's where the bad guy hit it, and the X3 is a freaking jetpack. They turn it on and shoots away and flies through the walls. It runs on alcohol, they scream. They're not so special. So do I, little jetpack, so do I. The pilot buckles it on, and the music swells. Next scene, they cut down a statue. Okay? We cut back to the bad guys, and we meet like the main bad guy who looks like Vega from Street Fighter 2 without his mask. He's like, "Where's my package?" The mid-level bad guys are like, "What's this all about?" And Vega says, "It's a rocket." And they say, "Well, one guy knows where it is, but he's in the hospital." That's the guy that jumped out of the car, I guess. He threatens them. They say, "Haha, Mr. Movie Star, what are you going to do? Walk into the hospital and ask him yourself? Because you're all like famous and everyone knows you." Then Vega pulls a sword on the gangsters, and the gangster muscle pulls guns on them, and everyone calms down, and they agree to get the rocket, and the movie star will triple the price. Back with Cliff and Peavy, they strap the jetpack to the statue they cut down and send the statue up into the air. The jetpack is so strong it rips the chain that was anchoring it, rips it out of the ground, but then it spins back around and comes back to the ground, and they grab it. They see money signs with this. First shot of Jen Connolly is her putting on a stocking. She's an aspiring actress, and seriously, Jen, get a real job and stay away from drugs. The 90s are gonna end rough for you, okay? Cliff and Jen go see a movie about Nazis, and that's working for Jen, weirdly enough. She starts making out with him, and no, we're not gonna make that joke. Just, yeah, okay, yeah. Because as his... It's gonna be a rough one. All right, we're just going to keep going. Some ugly muscle guy starts getting beaten. No, he's beating the shit out of the guy in the hospital because he won't tell him where the jetpack is. This feels very Dick Tracy. I love this guy. This is what I want in every movie. How did superhero movies become so bad? Get rid of all the CGI. Give me this guy, okay? They're all at the diner now. It's Larry from Newhart. Remember Larry and his brother Daryl and his other brother Daryl? Some little girl takes a toy plane to a man at the diner to fix the wheel, and the tire ends up dropping in Jen's soup, and there's a shot of the soup like splashing on chest. And that was such a like 80s, early 90s movie thing. So much cleavage in every movie. You don't see gratuitous cleavage shots played for comedy in movies anymore at all. Jen motions that he's gonna fly in the Nationals. Everyone else is like, after you crashed the plane today, and she's like, you crashed the plane today? And yeah, he didn't tell her. He comes back from his date with Jenny, and the stolen backpack mechanic partner Peavy is painting it gold. Cliff starts complaining to this guy about Jen. He's like, I don't understand. She hangs around with Hollywood types, talks movies all day, and I'm just a dumb pilot. Sounds like you do understand. I don't, like, it doesn't make sense, but you understand. Oh, it wasn't the backpack he was painting gold, it was the metal helmet. And he says, you gotta be kidding me. And I don't know why, because the helmet looks badass. Like, look at this thing. We cut to the main bad guy, the famous actor, what's his name, St. Clair, acting with Jen in some sort of Three Musketeers-ish movie scene. She didn't get the big part she wanted, though, because the director's niece got it. And that's showbiz, Jen. That's showbiz, kid. Then the pilot, Cliff, just walks onto set, and he's looking for his girlfriend, Jenny. And then we realize that some actor Charlie has been stabbed for real. What happened? Her idiot pilot boyfriend gets her banned from the lot. The pilot is ruining her career as well. Suddenly St. Clair is eavesdropping as the pilot explains to Jenny that he found the rocket backpack, and then they pay out Jenny and say, she's off the set, you're fired. But St. Clair runs out and rehires Jenny and wants her to read for the part of the main princess and wants to discuss it with her over dinner. This is a fun movie. Like, he is a great bad guy. He is a likable good guy. And Jen Connolly is hot as okay? All right? I remember being like 13 or 14 and seeing this movie with her on the French channel with that weird looking guy, and I could not believe what was happening. I'm going to look that up right now. It was called Some Girls. The guy with Patrick Dempsey and Jennifer Connelly was in it. And even in French, coming in and out of commercials, I could understand the nudity warning, so I kept watching. And to my surprise, the nudity was Patrick Dempsey. And I'm talking all Dempsey, not what I was hoping for. The old-timey mob is looking for the jetpack. They have pictures of Jen Connolly, and mob boss tells his goons to keep their eye out for this dame. She might know where it is. I don't know. I'd rather personally have that picture of Jen than the jetpack, but maybe that's just me. Some guy has no business flying a plane, is up flying a plane. He's an actual clown. And he's up there about to die, and Cliff is like, that rocket, is it still in the trunk? Time to strap that on and save the clown from the air. All right, this is good stuff, okay? This has weight. His engineer PV is like, I reworked the throttle, so squeeze her like a gas pedal. Always good advice. He puts the mask on, he asks how he looks, and the guy goes, like a hood ornament, and then he takes to the sky. This is awesome. This movie is awesome. This is a good movie. Amazing shots of him flying. He gets to the clown in the plane, whose name is Malcolm. It's Malcolm the Clown. His suit, the look, this is badass. He rockets away with Malcolm the Clown just as the plane nosedives into a truck and explodes. He drops Malcolm off all safe and sound and flies away, and the press are losing their minds. He's a real-life superhero. The Rocketeer is gone, and he's up flying beside planes and waving. He almost biffs it. He loses control. He goes through a clothesline and all the old-timey tropes, and I'm not complaining. He sticks the landing in a marsh and pops his helmet off. I liked it, he screams. Peavy picks him up in his car, and the mob is coming. The car won't start, so he yells at Peavy to just put it in neutral, and then he pushes the car with his jetpack. This is all awesome. This is all good stuff. Back on the set, the movie set, the famous actor is mad. The mob finds some guy and he's dead, but they get an address off his writing pad. It's Cliff's address. That giant Undertaker goon shows up to that place and he beats up both Cliff and Peavy. But then the FBI show up outside, and then the Undertaker starts shooting through the wall at the FBI, and the FBI returns fire. Taker finds some jetpack blueprints and he runs out the back door with them. This movie is so Dick Tracy, and I love it. I gotta review Dick Tracy just for the heck of it one of these days. There's some rich person party, and Jennifer and the actor are there together, and that girl is singing. She's from Haunted Mansion. She's also Jan from The Office. Okay, the Rocketeer and the old guy are screwed because they assume the FBI thinks it was them firing at the FBI from inside the house, not the Undertaker, and actually they're the bad guys. So they go to the diner, and then the mob comes in and they're asking for the pilot. They're like, anybody know this Cliff guy? See? And everyone acts like they don't know him and he's not sitting there at the bar. And the mob knows everyone is lying and they're protecting someone. And they're about to start kicking the shit out of everyone in the diner. And then they see Jenny's phone number on the wall. And the mob calls the number and her mom's like, no, she's not home. She's out with that famous actress Sinclair at this famous restaurant. And Cliff has his heart shattered, but still wants to get to her before the mob does. So he goes upstairs, straps on the jetpack, and goes to get her. Then the people inside the diner, including Larry from Larry, Daryl, and Daryl, they jump the other two remaining mobsters as Cliff gears up as the Rocketeer, and he's on his way to save Jenny, even though she's on a date with someone else. Vega brings her out to dance in the ballroom to no music, and I can't explain why. It's honestly, it's not because she's super hot, but these two dancing to no music at first feels like one of those big-time Hollywood moments we should be seeing over and over. Then the music starts, and they continue to dance, and the Rocketeer gets there and stashes his jetpack in the laundry. Not sure why he doesn't just wear it to fly into the ballroom, but instead he dresses up like a waiter, and he sneaks in, and he sees them dancing, and that doesn't feel good either. The rich actor guy, Sinclair, tells Jenny, tell me about your boyfriend, so at least I can understand my competition. Cliff, disguised as a waiter, waits on them, and he spills a drink on Jen, and then she has to meet him in the plants, and they chat. He's like, they murdered Bigelow. I guess that was that guy. And he's like, I'm the Rocketeer, and she has no idea who the Rocketeer is. That's funny. She hasn't listened to the news all day. He tells her to go to her mom's right now and hide. The mob get there, and they're chatting with Sinclair, looking for Jen. Jen is trying to catch a cab. The Undertaker spots Cliff, and now everyone is after him. He's running, and the waiters are being knocked over. And there should be a movie about a support group for waiters who get knocked over by main characters and bad guys in movies, and they lose their jobs because they dropped all the food, right? And what happens to them after. He runs back, and he gets his rocket pack, and now he's flying inside the ballroom. Jenny finally gets a cab, but then she sees there's a bunch of commotion inside the club, so she tries going back inside. Epic movie moment here where the Rocketeer is surrounded, and then he takes off and he smashes through the glass ceiling. As the actor, Sinclair, chloroforms Jenny, she wakes up in bed, dark. The actor comes into the room with some alcohol, dark. He wakes her up and he offers her a drink, triple dark. She asks, do you have to drug all your women to get them in bed? Oh. He says the mob are blackmailing him. He's actually a good guy. He starts kissing her neck, and she's kind of into it. What is happening? She's like, you kidnapped me. I'm so confused. She goes into the bathroom to change into a dress he gave her, but it was a setup, and she knocks him out and makes a break for it. She goes through his house and finds a hidden room behind a bookshelf and finds the stolen jetpack's blueprints, and she finds a radio and figures out that Neville St. Clair, the famous actor, is a spy, a fascist, and a Nazi, folks. Don't remember this part. In the 2026 reboot, if they make one, half the audience would think this guy is the protagonist and cheer him, and that's absolutely wild to think about how this was such a mic drop moment in 1991. He's a Nazi, boo! They call Cliff and they're like, we have your girlfriend, bring the rocket or we'll kill her. Cliff, be careful! Suddenly the FBI storm in and they bust Cliff now, and they're in the FBI office, and we meet Mr. Hughes, this actor. He's like, you have my rocket, I would like it back. He shows a video of the history of the rocket pack and how the Nazis are trying to get one made as well. They watch a Nazi propaganda video about the backpack. They talk about how there's some spy here, and Cliff figures out it's Neville St. Clair, and he escapes from the FBI, and we head for our big showdown, and I am buzzing. I am jazzed. I like this movie a lot. All the bad guys are waiting for him, and he makes a sweet entrance, and he pops the helmet off. He's all like swaggery. And he walks over to Jenny. He goes, first you let her go, and St. Clair pulls a gun and puts it to Jenny's head. Cliff asks the gangster boss Eddie, goes, you like working for a Nazi? And he's like, wait, what? Hey, I may be a crook, but I'm 100% American, and I don't work for no Nazis. St. Clair just then yells in German, and all these Nazis pop out from hiding in the bushes, and they surround the area, and suddenly the FBI all show up, and it's a mobsters and an FBI. They all start mowing down the Nazis. It's a big gunfight. St. Clair and the Undertaker drag poor Jen up to the rooftop and try to escape in a blimp. Like, why take to the air, though? That's the one place the Rocketeer can go. Why don't you go underground? But whatever. Oh, I guess Nazi St. Clair knows if they take to the air, the Rocketeer will come and then bring the jetpack. So it's like a setup. They can get it that way. There's a giant swastika on the side of the blimp. Where did this blimp come from? Was this just floating around? They see the Rocketeer standing beside a giant U.S. flag, and the mob boss says, go get him, kid! And he fires up and he heads to the swastika blimp. I kind of remember this. The Rocketeer and the Undertaker guy end up fighting atop the blimp, and this is so good. Oh, I was freaking out as a kid. He smashes the Undertaker through the glass in the blimp, and the blimp is fucked. I forgot to mention that before he left the diner with the jetpack, it had a hole in it, and he plugged it up with gum. So St. Clair has a gun to Jen's head again, and he just wants the jetpack, or he will kill her. As Cliff hands the jetpack over to St. Clair, he pulls the gum off before it even gets to that. They fight epic. They fight on a Nazi blimp that's on fire. St. Clair straps on the backpack. Jenny says, everything you said was lies. He goes, not lies, acting. And he flies off in the faulty backpack, immediately turns into the Human Torch as it explodes. Cliff takes Jenny to the top of the blimp that's on fire, and he's like, Jenny, once the fire spreads to that, she starts making out with him. He's like, not now, Jenny, oh my God. The old guy is suddenly flying in a plane next to the exploding blimp, and Cliff and Jenny jump on and land on the plane just as the blimp explodes. The Undertaker dies. This is good stuff. We go to the end. St. Clair is dead, and Cliff and Jen are having breakfast at the diner. He says he has cracked ribs, and Jenny goes, cracked ribs and me. And Cliff's like, yeah, his blood runs out his mouth. A plane lands outside, and everyone goes out to investigate. It's Mr. Hughes. He wants a word with Cliff. Mr. Hughes asks what it was like flying that thing. And he says, it's the closest to heaven I'll ever get. And Hughes says, maybe, maybe not. And he points at Jenny because, best thing to heaven, probably. Anyway, he left the plane for Cliff as a gift. She's like, oh, I have something for you too, and gives the old guy the blueprints she stole for the jetpack from the Nazi room. And they make out as the music swells and credit starts. Awesome! Oh my God, top 5 best Disney movies I have seen in 340 weeks.
That's what I think about.
What do you think?
What we have is a concern about Curtis Anderson. His interviewing style is not the best. His personal appearance is not the best. I was wondering if the man has some kind of a hold over the channel that he's allowed to be employed for so long with the standards of journalism and personal appearance that he has. Thank you.